Okay, today is October 9th already. This is Dor Hoima Akasha. The year's 2020. Just recording a rough copy for a business plan. And this business is not like a blade of grass. It's like a bushel tree. It's a tree, it's a bush that's got a lot of branches and a lot of other, because it'll be like a multi-business type of business. So with this business plan here, I'm putting all the cards on the table right off the top of my head so that we can go over the material, find the right people to help us, and get the other research done so that we'll know what we need. So there's the main business that I said, it's like a bush tree. I gotta break it down into 3 different businesses. So it would be like 3 different business plans that actually cooperate together as a functional structure. So the first business plan is like, it's not the beginning volume, it's not the beginning chapter, it's just a volume to itself that pieces together with the other business ideas, business plan, business production. So the main foundation of this business plan is a farmland. And the name of the farmland is called Akashique Agro Canadian Culture Community. Now, the reason why it's called Akashique Agro is because we're going to be utilizing working with nature. That's the main theme of the farm. Is what's the best way we can work with nature and or the most eco-friendly, green-friendly function. Akashique Agro Canadian Culture Community also means that it's a farmland that's also aiming to develop into a farmland community. So with that, it's going to be a big job provider where people can work and participate in food production for local businesses and such, and not have to travel to go to work. It would just be right there as a part of the community. These are all things that have been done before. I've just managed to put them in a very helpful economic manner, where with the times of the pandemic and you got to wear a mask and social distance, I've got a plan where you can set up a very productive farmland community where staff are hired to come and work there with the option to come and live there. And the people that live there also get to work there. So when you put it together, it'll produce a lot of jobs, and the aim is to produce not just a lot of jobs, but a lot of food. So that's basically with the title there. And as I said, it's a multi-purpose farm. So that's why it'll be busy for making a lot of jobs for people. Now, the first part that I want to present is that it's a multi-purpose farm, but we're going to be running this one business that'll get people coming. It'll get people and their families to come camping on a farmland in a certain way, because being that this farmland is designed to work with nature and utilize permaculture and new economic friendly systems of farming, we've got a lot of new systems to work out. So what we want to run is something called the Catch and Cook Container Cabins. The Catch and Cook Container Cabins. Whoa. So where do you want to go camping this time? Like, where do you want to try? You go camping different places? We got something, because Akashique Agro Canadian Culture Community, so Akashique Agro Farms, you can call it that too, is we've got a bunch of things going that I'm itching to mention, but I'm going to get into those things. So one of the front door businesses, other than the cash crops we'd be growing in the land, and the livestock, the type of livestock that we'd be growing. I'm not going to get into that yet until later on in the business plan. The Catch and Cook Container Cabins is one business where people come to camp and they could use their own tents, but we have cabins already designed for quick cooking, catch and cook. Catch and cook, crash out, whatever you need. We have the cabins made out of shipping containers because it should be financially friendly and eco-friendly both ways. So using shipping containers and have the outside of them designed to look like a cabin. You can hire graffiti paint artists or something like that and get it done right away. No postponing, make a due date. It's a business and it's legit. You want it done right by the time the summer starts. Catch and Cook Container Cabins. That's one business. I'll elaborate on that later because I'm just talking about right now, I'm just talking about Akashique Agro Farms, which the full proper name is Akashique Agro Canadian Culture Community Multi-Purpose Farm. So one of its purposes is it's got a front door business for guests to come and camp at the Catch and Cook Container Cabins, and we've got it all set up where permaculture / local natural livestock that whatever we're like allowed to domesticate and allow certain camping, hunting groups, how big can we let them, we'll figure that stuff out when we do the research. Right now, for that, I would just use our fish farming system, which will also be for producing food for the community and the market. All the food that this farm produces is for the market and the community. Okay? Because the intention is to be very food productive. So just a lot. So even though we've got people coming to camp at the front part of the whole plot, it's just the front end tip of the iceberg of what's really going on this farmland. People can come to camp and live in those, or stay temporarily, like for a weekend or so, or for a week or two during the summer, and come and hunt training groups where you can train kids to hunt. So other than fish, the other livestock we would have at this farm is we would farm bunny rabbits, and we would try to keep it as a local breed if we're allowed to domesticate the local wild bunnies a little bit, just to keep their numbers up for people that come. Because we don't want to, we're going to need to do a bit of research on that, but I know for the fish farming, we would need to utilize a property that has water, right? And then from there, we would set up the fish farm, get that going. Now, I'm going to take you to another business that's taking place on the very same farmland, the Akashique Agro farmland. Okay? This business is taking place indoors, and it's a specialized business where we would need to hire a midwife and potentially a basic nurse. So if we have an in-house nurse, that's cool. We'll see who winds up living with us, but it's obviously going to have to be completely legit so that while it's still legal to do natural birthing outside of the hospital, we have this business plan that would definitely work out, because there is a certain number of people that are interested in giving birth a little bit more naturally than in the hospital. So one of the businesses we would run at this very same property, in the main house, that'll also have a little bit of a bed and breakfast going on in there, like maybe 2 to 3 rooms. Who knows, maybe we'll get more traffic and it could be 4 rooms just for bed and breakfast type guests. But for that, I'm not aiming high, because there's already enough other things going on. A lot of things will support the other, which I'll soon explain in the rest of the presentation. So, being that there's a certain crowd of people that are interested in natural birthing, and I'm into it, my wife's into it, and a bunch of old friends that I've met along the way, they're into it. Naturalist type people that like to work with nature to function healthy are definitely, they're going to be into it. So there's a certain crowd. I tried to do a little bit of market research on that, and I'm not even sure if there didn't seem to be a lot of information, but it looks like we can utilize that as a bit of a trend that we can utilize while it's still legal to do natural births outside of the hospital. Okay, so inside of the main house at the Akashique Farm community, there'll be a very special bathroom with a very special jacuzzi hot tub where we can change the temperature and make everything nice. Is we want to run a natural birthing business where, women that are almost due and they've already gotten checked a few times from their doctor and they already have their doctor's authorization, if that'll work out, that bathroom will definitely pay for itself and then some, according to my calculations by just looking around and feeling around. Okay, it's a very special bathroom that people make appointments to come, and we know it's going to be short notice because we don't know when the person's water is going to break, or we don't know if they're having Braxton Hicks okay, so it's if their water breaks and you've already made an appointment for this month or the next and your water broke, if we're free and we're available, we're going to let you come over pretty much any time of the day, 24/7, and we'll call our midwife and nurse up to come and be there so that you can do a natural delivery in a very well set up nature-based bathroom that will be designed to accommodate natural birthing in a very comfortable jacuzzi type tub. Okay, so that's just one of the businesses going on inside the main house, the main big house on Akashique Agro. Okay. Now I'm going to go straight to the next thing on the list, because I'm throwing you the main idea for the main house on the farmland. Right? There's a few things the main house would be running. We'd be running the bed and breakfast that's themed nature. Then we'll be running the catch and cook container cabins, which means we'd also have to be farming fish farming. If there's crayfish farming, we would do that. So we'll be open to looking to do research on that. And keep it local if we're allowed to do that. Farm the type of fishes and type of animals that would grow in this environment. We're likely to do it in Quebec. Keep in mind the name Akashique is spelt the French way. So, and then there's the natural birthing. So that's already 3 businesses just for the main house on the property. Now for the back end of the main house of the property, what will be taking place is we're going to call it some cash grow, some quick cash type of farming. So right off the back, a lot of the space, the other space that'll be divvied out here and there using a bit of permaculture too, and new school agriculture systems, we would grow garlic, lavender, and spinach plus. Now, when I say spinach plus, I mean spinach plus its cousins. Kale is a cousin, and there's this one vegetable known as callaloo. It's also a cousin of spinach. So what the plan is to grow spinach and its cousins. And we'll be hiring staff for everything, because whoever is going to be in charge of the business with me, we have to manage all of the staff and all of the managers that manage all the staff for all of the different businesses. We're not supposed to be really out there getting too dirty unless we want to get out there and get dirty. We don't have to get out there and get dirty because we need to set up a whole bunch of jobs. And what's very important is food. So we got a system going where we got some cash crops growing in the back. Okay, that's garlic, lavender, spinach, hire staff to manage that. Then we divvy out the space. As we divvy out the space, some things will be grown inside of containers. Shipping containers, you can farm inside of them. So there's greenhouses, we'll use that, but we'll also use shipping containers, and hopefully we can have solar panels on top of all of our buildings if we're allowed to run a business, and also utilize raw, fresh, free electricity. I don't know if we're allowed to get away with that, but we can just research and see what the numbers come up as. Then, seeing that we hire staff and divvy out space, and we also farm indoors, we are planning to grow mushrooms, potatoes, and cannabis, which is not really a big deal, but it's definitely worth mentioning. Again, look at the market research. I'm definitely looking for help with someone that can help me do that type of research to find out. Mushrooms is very good on the market. Potatoes is it's a staple food. So that's also to get the community to get by on its own food as well. And in dealing with potatoes, it'll warm us up to farm other foods that grow underground, such as beets or carrots. So potatoes would just be a warm-up before we get into those other root-type vegetables later on. Just starting up with our cash crop from the back end of the farmland. Akashique Agro, Canadian culture community, all multi-purpose farmland, naturalist theme, naturalist based. So recycling shipping containers may not be very natural, but it's eco-friendly, and we want them to be decorated on the outside with weatherproof paint to look like cabins from old school, but just by painting it, Keep it simple. You already know that they're recycled shipping containers, but at least they'll be painted on the outside a certain way that will remind you of the tradition of the old school cabins. Then inside the cabins, we want medium quality. So it doesn't have to be 5-star quality setup for the living interior for these cabins. We want it medium setup for quick catch and cook. You catch a bunny rabbit, or you catch some fish, or if we're allowed to run any bigger game, make sure you have a group big enough to utilize all of the meat, or you can give back that meat to the farmland and we can discount the total charge of your catch and cook stay, right? I'll elaborate on that more later, because this is just about the farmland and what we're growing, what we're doing at the front and what we're doing at the back. A special topic before I close it off is, obviously, to get this farmland going, to me, it's obvious that it will need more than one grant. So whoever would like to join in with this business venture, because it's a business venture where we live there, so you're not going to miss it, and you're going to wake up in it and start your day. I like taking care of the chickens first thing when I wake up early in the morning. And then I go back to my bedroom and have some tea and a doobie. That's how I like dealing with it when I live on the farm. I like taking care of the chickens really early and then relaxing again before making breakfast. And I don't know, maybe that's how they do it in other farms. But this is not my self-biography. That's actually a book that I'm going to be working on pretty soon. This is just one business plan that is a main tree trunk for multiple business plans that'll provide a lot of food and a lot of jobs. So the closing conclusion is that it's likely to need more than one grant. Anyways, this is Dorhoima Akasha.